Hey, Rigsters here. Long time no see in the land of World of Warships. Today, as the video is titled, The Atlanta I've Forgotten Past. So, the Atlanta B has a really bad rep in this game, for good reason, too. It's not entirely unfounded, because it has very weak armor, and it's a light cruiser that used to have actually extraordinary great AA back when it used to matter more often than it does nowadays. It can still put the paint on, but not as much as it used to. And also the fact that you have to have a lot of captain skills and perks and modules to be meta effective these days. So, before I take it in for a quick battle, I'll just briefly show you what I'm put on here. Of course, the main armament, because you need to be constantly shooting. Engine room protection, because it does tend to lose its gearing and stuff very easily. Now, just for memes, I put on the AA gun mods upgrade for faster sector prep time. I have debated between that or getting aiming system mod 1, but I still am okay with having that on there. Now, this one is a preference thing for propulsion. I usually prefer the faster acceleration because I just camp behind islands in this thing, which is kind of oxymoronic because the firing range is 13.3. But it does actually help, I find, more often than the steering gears. Steering gears is only useful if you're an open water cruiser or you do a different playstyle. It tends to do better when there's islands. And the one unique thing about the Atlanta that not everybody knows about, or it's not as well known, is that it has unlimited defensive AA fire charges. So, unlike with Hydro, which is not entirely useless, it's just very mediocre range, and considering what you're doing most of the time in the ship, which is camping behind islands and just spamming HE most of the time, it's okay, but I'd rather have its original flavor, defensive AA unlimited, for 50% more continuous and 300% more flak damage. And also it has, although it's very terrible range, surveillance radar at 8.5 kilometers, which can help with cap contesting, but you have to be very careful how you do that. For the captain, for now, I have made the guns turn faster. What's also useful is obviously having last stand. That is extremely helpful. I did take extra fire chance because I'm using inertia fuse. Because if you don't use inertia fuse, this goes from like 26 to... Let me just redistribute this for free because of an event going on. To 21. And that's pretty abysmal. So I'm going to actually redistribute it just a little bit here. Do that there. And what was that? No, I didn't want heavy HE. That doesn't really help much. There we go. Concealment and inertia. So faster rate of fire every time you get hit with adrenaline rush. That's a universal basic skill. And instead of having faster turret traverse, in 4.8 or 7.2 seconds is still ridiculously fast for a light cruiser. I'm gonna rather take last stand. Another useful one to get for this ship is to either have priority target or consumable enhancement. That is also another personable preference captain skill. So I didn't master there. The reason why I could do it for free is because of the submarine event, as of the time of this recording, of October 18th. Alright, so we're in a match. This matchup actually, sadly, doesn't have a CV to demonstrate one of its few things, but I didn't actually expect to see utter flints in Atlanta as well. Although I did expect to see some new German battleships, which I believe, if I'm correct or not, the Cavor is the new German battle cruiser. Oh, brother. So the chat's already off to a great start. So, going to the D point, of course, because why not? The real reason why is I'm trying to get to the rock cover around D8, which is right over here. that is the intended path of where I want to go. The question is, am I going to actually get there before I get blown up? Or they find me before I get blown up? Let's find out. I would support the... it's a Russian destroyer name. It's... I'm just going to call it the Okoknik. I guess that's what I'll do. And I'll support him. Also, I forgot to switch to HE. Let's see how fast the turrets turn. Oh yeah, it's still very fast. It's not as fast as I'm used to, but I better have less stand on this thing. I've noticed that the engines and rudder gets hurt very often because of the very weak armor. Because it's a light cruiser, it's tended to counter other light cruisers or destroyers. You can burn down battleships if they leave you alone. And I've done that. Especially with inertia fuse. It just takes a lot of captain skills too, like literally with the actual skill point set and figuratively, because it doesn't play like a normal cruiser. Speaking of Atlanta, there's an Atlanta. There's a T-22. If he pops smoke, I could still hurt him. I would go in perfect position behind here and slam it into reverse. And using double left click, or in this case, a mouse button to constantly just keep shooting. And you have to pull lead at range. It's very good at countering most destroyers in this game that are within its tier bracket of 6 to 9. See? Just like that. Easy does it. That's what it's good at doing. If there's one thing the Atlanta is always good at doing, it's just demolishing destroyers, especially when it has an island and time to react and shoot. That's how you do it. There's no other way of explaining that. And even if you don't have inertia fuse, it's very easy to slap down destroyers. They don't have much armor, which is kind of the point. So now we switch to the Biotomy. Or is that the Biotomy or Badoni? I can't pronounce Russian cruiser names or ship names in general. I always seem to butcher that. Well, missed that. Better start forwarding it now. And that's where the lack of range really hurts the Atlanta. Because you're so dependent on cover and supporting fire that you really gotta be careful how you push. Or you push in, if at all. Which in this case is not advisable. There's way too many battleships and stuff running around here. You can't shoot over islands, just like any other US light to heavy cruisers. Most of them allow you to do this. And since this Atlanta is showing broadside, I'm not going to risk overpens. You can actually AP Citadel most British light cruisers between the tiers it faces. The 9, not so much, but the 5 to 8, you can actually AP Citadel with these 127s, which I was quite taken aback by, to be honest. Because of the low gun caliber of these cannons. Which are basically just what Gehrig and Fletcher used, just in double barrel configuration. What's his scores doing? Seriously? Like, come on, man. Like, what a dope. Alright, so I don't want to really risk running out of radar or using it too soon. I'll eventually pop it if I need to. We already destroyed the only destroyer of the match. There is a submarine, which is the Tier 6 U-69. Yeah, I know. But that's what the game says. That is not too concerning, because he's going down the B line on the mini-map, which is right over here, where my mouse pointer is. That's where he was last seen heading. Now I'm just going to back up a bit. Just start setting fires in this Ismail. Just checking around my surroundings to see if the guns are still pointing at me. And like I said, if they ignore you, you can punish them. And this Colorado guessed wrong and completely missed. Fortunate for us, because if that actually connected, I would have been a hurting turkey. Which is close to, somewhat close to Thanksgiving, month-wise. Not day-wise, of course. That would have been pretty bad. And I still got 4 fires. Even with inertial fuse taken, which heavily dampens your HE fire chance for that increased penetration. But it is worth it. You can spec the skill for it, take it for this cruiser. If you don't, well, you have to be extremely reliant on fires, which doesn't always work. And that goes for most HE spammy light cruisers. I don't know why this Atlanta on the enemy team is doing that. I'm a bit baffled why he's doing that when he clearly sees me firing on people. And he probably doesn't have the engine acceleration, so I could just start pumping tons of shells into him. He's almost down, so I gotta keep the pressure on him. Come on, just one more shot should do it. But just in case, I'm gonna keep shooting. Come on. Yes! There we go, that's how it's done. And we're up to 53,000 damage. Not bad for a ship most players decry, saying it sucks and stuff. Now granted, it is a little bit of a cherry pick, I will say, because this is a very tier-wise even match. I just don't know why. Maybe it's just I get lucky. Or maybe I've just been blessed with the most random teams of all randomness. You never know with this game. This goes for War of Tanks too. Another game that I used to play more often back in the day, but not as much as I used to. This Ismail still hasn't really fired on me. That Colorado is scary though. Ismail can still hurt this ship like crazy. I'm really risking my broadsides firing on him. He finally fires on me, but only one shot. And he missed completely? Oh, I'll take that. Alright. You wanna... I don't wanna, like, count my fortune here, but... Alright. See if any of those shells can do it. Unbelievable. I'll just keep salvo firing all my 127s at him. If he wants to play this game, I'll play it. I mean, this is extremely either fortunate or unfortunate circumstances for this match. I usually don't have it this easy. Believe me. To say every match will go like this would be outright lying to you. Because I can assure you that I usually don't get this lucky or this good in the Atlanta. Oh man. This actually was very impressive. The team support actually is still going pretty good. I'm going to actually move up and move out to close the range. Another Atlanta. Huh. Alright. Let's see how this Atlanta does. I'm going to start actively maneuvering too. Just to make sure he doesn't have easy shots. But I want to make sure I keep an eye on that Colorado. That's even more dangerous of a threat. The one that's actually closer. Now, the shell travel time is abysmal. 13.5 at max range is probably... You can't get much worse than that for most cruisers. It'd take like an eternity to get there. As you can see. Yeah, I have to either pull a lot of lead or guess at that point. Finally taking damage. But very minimal. But that's okay. That's why you get Adrenaline Rush. That's just still maneuvering like... Oh. The enemy's still there. So now I'm finally actually taking damage. Just gotta start pulling some lead here. Gotta start maneuvering. Come on. Ah. He's starting to do his pesky wiggle the ship, but it's too late. Killed him for 891 and get almost 100,000 damage in a tier 7 ship that most people say is a piece of crap. Yeah. I think this ship is definitely very weird. It's a very unusual ship. I would definitely not recommend this for new players, because that still took, even though I made it look easy and said, oh, look at all this damage I did. That's only because the tier was basically up to my own tier. Team on the enemy, not playing to their strengths. Had good team support, and are actually not only they taken out the submarine, which was usually not a problem if you're in a ship like this, but it is for others. They have all but one cap zone. The chances of the team losing now is pretty slow. It's pretty slow. I mean, pretty low. I was actually going to mention that this ship is slow for a cruiser. 32 knots is not great. You get to places where you need to be, but you're not going to be winning in straight line speed against much. Except maybe the slower battleships. That's about it. Where is this Atlanta? Ah, there's the enemy Atlanta. Let's try some AP on the enemy Atlanta here. Let's try targeting right about there. Let's see how that does. Nope. This is bad damage. Yeah, AP on itself doesn't really work. I mean, yeah, it does damage, but I could have done more if I just swapped the usual round that you're normally going to fire 90% of the time in this thing, which is HE. I just love the sheer lunacy of how many guns this ship has for a light cruiser, even though it's all in like twin barrels. It's just ridiculous. And yeah, these ships existed in real life. They were intended as like AA escort support ships, which is great. I mean, I'm having fun playing it at least. Ah, almost got cracking. Alright. Well, let's take a look here at the match results. So, got 262 shell hits, 7 fires, 106,000 damage because of the fires. Let's see how the team score-wise, we got in the top 3. Not bad. It's probably because he was... Wow, the other Atlanta got 4 kills too on our team. Wow, not bad. We got like 90% of the kills. Yeah, fire stacking, 12,000, that was for fires. Most of it was just straight up pen. And earned, without premium, 328,005. If you subtract 60,000, that would be about 250 to 260,000 without the Zulu flag. And if I had premium with the Zulu flag, it would be 509,000. Can't ask for a better profit ratio for a ship. Alright, oh, that's pretty much it for the Atlanta, the lost ship. I actually was quite pleasantly surprised by that match. Yeah, it was a cherry pick, but hey, you know what? Sometimes it is fun playing ships that are absolutely abysmal. Can sometimes get some fun enjoyment out of it, given that circumstance. So this is Rigsters' Journey, signing off.
Evolution. This is the future.